We will start by creating the markup and some styling for the resume builder. We want to structure our code by creating one component per file. This single file component setup requires us to have either a template or a script tag. If we don't have that, we will get an error. In Vue, all that should be rendered goes in between the template tags. We will add the tag main as a wrapper for all content and give it the class container. Next, we add the wrapper for the resume. Let's add a div for that with the ID of resume. You see, I added an ID and a class here. But where do we add the CSS rule for those? There are many ways to add styling in Vue. We could write everything in a separate CSS file that applies to every component. Styling can also be applied inline, but this could clutter the HTML. We can also add component-specific styling. That means that the styling will only get applied to the elements of the component of the current file in a single file component setup. For that, we add the scoped attribute to the style tag. We will be using both scoped style for styling specific to a single component and simple styling that should be global we add to the main CSS. The container class we added in our template should be given the element a max width, as well as center the content by setting margin left and margin right to auto. Since this is a general styling, we added in the main CSS. We also add 40 pixel margin to the top and bottom. To distinguish our resume from the background, we give it a box shadow. We also set the height and width according to the International A4 standard that specifies the size of a page. Many layouts divide the resume into two columns, a small column on the left and a bigger one on the right. We add a left and a right column inside the resume for that. By default, they will be underneath each other because div elements are block level elements, which means they will take up the full width. We need to set the parent to display flex. We are not using Bootstrap in this app because we will barely need it. We can add this class to the resume div now, and the columns will be next to each other. We want the left column to be smaller than the right one, so we set left col to 30% and the right col to 70%. Before adding more styling, we will add the main resume markup with placeholder content. This way, we can get an idea about the structure and style. A good place to start is by adding headlines. In the left column, we will add About Me, Contact, Skills, Certifications. In the right one, Experience and Education. These names are just placeholders because we will allow the user to edit them. We will wrap those headlines into H4 tags and add the class section headline to each. Most importantly, the resume needs a name and a position title. We add this to the top of the right column. Let's fill in some placeholder content in the left column. For experience, we want to add job title, company, location, time range, and a few description points regarding what we did there. The education entries we structure similarly. With this, we can highlight courses, achievements, or activities. In the main CSS, we will add CSS variables for the main colors we will use. We give the left column a background color and a border to the right so that we can distinguish them properly. We also give both columns some padding. The section headlines will also get some styling to distinguish the headline from the normal text better. For the left column, we want the section headlines to have this underlined look that starts at the column separation line, so we use negative margin right here. To apply the same spacing to the different sections of our resume, we wrap them into a div with the class resume section. Each section should contain a headline, such as About Me, and the content that belongs to it. Each section should add the same spacing at the bottom. We will add 30 pixel margin to the bottom of each section. In the right column, we want to improve the styling a bit. We will apply some styling to the personal name and personal title div. This way, the underline will start precisely at the column separation line. The list items are very far indented. It is styling that is applied by the browser automatically as we can see when we inspect the element. We want to override that for all unordered lists in the resume. There's also a margin added that we want to override. In the main CSS, we set the font family to sans serif and the font size to 16 pixel. Now you can see the resume taking shape.
Thanks for watching this Newline tutorial. If you haven't already, please like this video and subscribe to our channel. It helps other students find our content.